Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is your Astro Tarot report for the month of July 2025. And this is going to be a very interesting month for you, a month that you're going to remember because your ruling planet Mars is going to conjoin the South Node on July 20th, where you will be releasing some, it'll be depending on everybody's personal chart, of course, not all Scorpios are going to feel it the same. It does have a stronger impact if it's hitting one of your planets, but it's going to be happening in the sign of Virgo. And we're going to pull a chart and we'll show you what house that's in. But this is going to be a time where you really let go of some old patterns and big old habits that are just not good for you anymore. You're going to change your ways in a big way. And you're going to go more spiritual because when Mars and the South Node conjoin, and it's going to happen in your 11th house, so you're going to be letting go of some kind of a connection or a person, or perhaps meeting people on social media, or because this is going to be in your 11th house, so it's going to be letting go of um, habits with the tribe, with social media, with networking. You're going to be letting go of sort of repeat patterns or habits that just don't suit you anymore. And then you're going to be really aligning with your true tribe, your true people that way. It's like you're going to let go of some sort of resistance in your friends groups and in even just needing a tribe or needing people. You're going to let go of sort of over giving and trying to kind of control in a way. You're going to be surrendering the energy. That's the big energy that you're going to be feeling this month. And it can come with a challenge. That can be a very difficult thing because it's a very spiritual thing when the South Node and Mars meet. It's the energy of really taking action to release actions that we take to hold on to things. So it's going to be something comes in that we can't hold on to something anymore. We're not holding on to it anymore. And so we have to let it go. And it is sort of like there's no choice on this day. And so sometimes that's painful, but you're going to be liberated. You're going to feel free. You're giving up. You're surrendering. You're stopping the struggle. And that's a great experience. It's good for everyone, this transit. And we become more spiritual, more flow into that North Node in your fifth house, where you're going to meet new, more spiritually aligned and soul connected mates, and your true aligned friends, and your mission and your Dharma aligns with them. You've got this beautiful top of the kite there going to the Saturn and Neptune. Neptune's retrograde, which is going to bring us potentially clarity. I think with this kind of a transit, it brings clarity. We're going to have Saturn go retrograde on the 13th, and that rules your third and your fourth. So a living situation from the past, or a project from the past, or a work-related project from the past, but also, again, more of this theme of letting go of a you're good, because if you have Saturn in the sixth house, you take your health very seriously, you take your time very seriously, you're going to preserve your energies more. You're not just going to sort of give in ways that aren't in alignment with your dharma, because that with that North Node in the fifth house, you're really aligning up with some sort of collaborative project. Perhaps also a spiritual counterpart relationship opens up now for you. If you are single, if you are married and in a good relationship, or in a stable situation, then you could just be letting go of friendships that are not, and connections and tribes that are not aligned with your spiritual ideals or ideas or your open-mindedness, because the 11th house is very open-minded. So you may have to let go of um, trying to fit in a situation that isn't right for you. That's another way to look at it. So yeah, so we have Venus and Uranus are going to transit into your eighth house here any day now. Uranus is going to move there on the 4th. I'm sorry, the 7th. Venus moved in there on the 4th into Gemini, your eighth house, and then Uranus is going to move in there. Uranus is going to be in your eighth house now for about 8 years, if I'm right on that. And so you're going to be experiencing a lot of shakeups and changes in your finances, but eventually what happens, what I notice when Uranus passes through the eighth house is our fears of being financially stable can be shaken up, but what's happening is you're being shaken to be stable. And here are the ways you're going to do very, very well is selling, being on media. Everybody's going to do well with that Gemini energy. To understand Gemini energy right now is important. So, so there's some sort of connection. You are Scorpio, and this is in the occult. So it is possible that you take seriously your gifts at occultism because it's in the eighth house. You could go through periods of luck with financial windfalls. There could be suddenly financial drops as well with the eighth house there. But Venus and Uranus for this month is positive. Venus is going to bless your finances and Uranus. So there's, if anything, there's a potential for a nice upgrade financially with work or some kind of a work opportunity opens up. Um, some kind of financial opportunities can open up through Gemini energy and third house energy, which you can go look up, which is basically communication, writing, media, selling, um, writing. Um, so here are some cards coming out for Scorpio. So we do have, so let's look at your fourth house. So we're getting that planning on family or we do have Jupiter in your ninth. Let me get back to some of these transits before I pull the cards because then they'll make more sense. So we've got that Uranus. So by the way, Uranus is going to liberate you financially. It wants to liberate you financially there in that eighth house and help you invest and help you make money. Uranus's agenda is to financially liberate us. So you have the potential of a really good investment opportunities that can financially liberate you. Maybe you invest in media stuff. That's another option. So the full moon comes in on the 10th. Uranus is going to move in on the 7th into Gemini. And then we have this full moon in your third house. Interesting Gemini energy, third house. So you're going to have the full moon in your third house where potentially, and look at how it trines, that third house makes a really positive angle to the eighth house. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, on the cusp anyway, it does. It cusps the house. The Pluto is cusping that eighth house. A lot of Scorpios could come into a financial windfall over a real estate sale or a real estate transaction of some sort. So anyway, so this full moon in your third house is going to bring a big revelation that a lot of your thinking and a lot of your ways of communication and perhaps your motives or perhaps your communication and your thinking and your attitude or perhaps sort of a lower self-esteem, karmic, a cause of karmic experiences because Saturn is about to go retrograde in your sixth house, back into your fifth house, which is about relationships. So you're going to be clearing your communication and your perhaps methods of controlling relationships, communicate, because remember we have that South Node and Mars hitting there in your 11th house. So there's some sort of awakening where you realize with Jupiter in your ninth house there in its exaltation that you've had some sort of spiritual misperception about communication, your thinking, your attitude, and what happens in your relationships. And so you're sort of healing a pattern of either communicating too much or using communication as a controlling mechanism. So you're really surrendering and you're realizing this and you're seeing some patterns, some karmic patterns in your, again, third house things is the theme for Scorpio. So you could have self-destructive thoughts, internal thoughts that cause you to experience karmic retribution because as within, so without, as above, so below. So we're manifesting this. So you're realizing this. So there's this full moon there. Now this is a nice full moon too. There's victory there too. So some sort of victorious opportunity. Again, these are work related houses, your sixth and your third. So these are some sort of openings and some sort of stable new financial opportunities opening up for you, Scorpio. So we looked at the full moon. We've got that Saturn retrograde in your sixth, which is going to have you go back. There's that habit thing again in your sixth house. It relates to that Mars and Virgo South Node, where you're going to be letting go and you're going to be seeing how you operate on a day to day that is causing you to have karmic outcomes that you don't like or experiences that don't, shall we say, it's not what you're intending. Your actions are creating a different result. Everyone's doing that with Saturn retrograde. We're all seeing how our actions are creating a result that we don't want, so that we change our actions. We realize now that those actions are not creating what we want. So we have to change our actions. So this Saturn retrograde, especially with Neptune there, this is important because for everybody, these lessons that we're learning with the Saturn retrograde are really important for the new beginnings that are about to happen in Aries with the Saturn. It's a 29-year cycle, even maybe longer. With Neptune, there could be a 35-year cycle before Neptune and Saturn meet again, right? So we're initiating a new cycle that started 35 years ago. Neptune, Saturn, was it '09? I can't remember. But anyway, but especially with the Saturn new cycle, we're really getting a chance to rectify, redeem, reflect, redo, go back, do something right, get our act together, and fix our approach so that we solidify these new beginnings the right way and we create the right foundations, but that they also start to have the results in our lives that we want, because on this new cycle, it's a better cycle. We want to, we've learned to create better results in our life. So that's Saturn in retrograde until November. And then we also have, then what we're going to have towards the end of the month or middle of the month, because let's see, from the 18th to 20th to the 22nd to the 24th, we're going to have we're going to have that Mercury retrograde in Leo, which is going to be in your 10th house. And some sort of a career opportunity again comes back from the past. These, by the way, Saturn retrograde with this full moon may bring an opportunity of work from the past that we were not karmically prepared for. Any of us were with anything that's coming back from the past. This is the theme. And this time we're get to practice our new our lessons or our awareness with the situation. So it's coming back from the past to test our karmic development, or can we do it this time? But actually, we're being given a chance because this is important for us. This is part of our destiny. Anything that comes back from the past right now is definitely a part of our future. So this time we do it, we redo it right. Okay. So that's Mercury retrograde, a project from the past, communication from the past. You could get pregnant, do family with that North Node in your fifth house, Mercury retrograde, Leo, 10th, get married. With Uranus leaving your seventh house, it could bring the resolve of a relationship that needed to go through a lot of transformation or a lot of change and shifts, and you do become quite committed in something. So that can happen because as Uranus leaves a house, it sort of brings the end of, if it's been traveling in your seventh house, it's shaking up your seventh house so that you become relationship material. So as it leaves, you now are relationship material, and you most likely get your true person here. And then again, financial liberation with joint resources as Venus and Uranus move into your eighth house. You pull your finances together. And then with that Jupiter in your ninth and the sun in your ninth there at the beginning of the month, a lot of spiritual awakenings and learning and understanding the occult too, with that eighth house and higher consciousness. There could be a real awakening, and that you're here to be gifted to work with the occult and to learn more about higher consciousness, or to travel, or to learn astrology. But also you could be a counselor and therapist and psychologist. If you have planets in your ninth and your eighth and your Scorpio, you're going to be a really good therapist. I mean, especially if there's water over your ninth like that, you have planets there for sure in Cancer. So yeah, so that we're gonna have the sun on the 22nd and this new moon on the 24th in your 10th house, a new career from something from the past, communication from the past, most likely a relationship from the past because Saturn is going retrograde too, or a project from the past. It's going to go back into your fifth house. Most likely a friendship from the past now becomes more serious. And you come together for soul contracts. I mean, honestly, I could have just done run read for all the 12 signs because I think this is happening for everybody. And if you're in your current relationship that's stable, then you join together and you either have a child or you start a soul contracted mission, a partnership, business, third house, full moon in your third house. You kind of suddenly have a big idea for a big business and that you're able to handle now because you know how to communicate and how not to be negative and how not to um what's the word I'm looking at, go into defeatist mindset or things like that. So there's a lot of maturity with Saturn going retrograde. We're growing up around that, and then it's really going to empower us to really take some sort of financial, there we go, that's sort of, there's your collaborative contract with a divine mate or partners. World card, there you go. There's that South Node Mars where you're really letting go and you're surrendering. And that's where you're supposed to be right now, Scorpio. You're supposed to let everything go, release attachments. Then you've arrived at the end of some journey, this karmic journey. You're just going to get a little tested as it goes retrograde. This time you're going to do it different. And we do get the Chariot, which represents that Jupiter in the ninth house with the sun there right now. And we get this Hermit card, which is the Virgo house. So, and then we get again, I get the adventurous of the mission. And the fifth house is quite adventurous. And that's sort of like saying going on a spiritual adventurous mission. Having a child is a spiritual mission. We need people on the planet. You're bringing a soul in. So it's the equivalent of that. If you're not literally, if that is not in the cards for you, you are literally in the creative force field at this time and creating something out of nothing, with a collaborative partner, um, and letting go of other groups and people that are not aligned with this new destiny for you. So try not to have any worries. This Leo season is going to bring you on your mission here, no doubt about it. And you're going to end a karmic, anything that's karmic is going to go. You're going to be liberated with that Uranus. You're probably ending a karmic relationships. That's going to end. A karmic cycle with relationships is ending. And you actually kind of are liberated from a karmic cycle here. And then that really puts you in your mission. There's that Leo season. So try not to worry if you're worried about finances at all or anything. Leo season really opens things up, really puts you on your true mission here. And then we have that new moon Leo is the beginning of that. So Chiron is going to go in retrograde on the 30th. And then we also have on the 31st, Venus is going to go into Cancer with Jupiter. I mean, that's really lucky for you. That's August looks really good with Venus, Jupiter in your ninth, and potentials for travel, romance, new family, new spiritual dharmic path. So that's a lucky time for you, Scorpio. So I hope, I pull out of this. I hope this reading was helpful for you and that you have a wonderful month. And if you would like a reading, feel free to check out my website, soullevels.com. I have a link that you can click and book a reading with me there. All right. Or you can email me, MadelineParker111 at gmail.com. All right. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.